Done. Hello, hello. I am very excited today about our webinar. This time we don't have a PowerPoint because it's all about willpower, and I wanted to be able to look into your eyes and tell you guys, you can do this. You have got control. You are in charge of you, and willpower affects every single area of our life, and I don't think we give it the credit that it needs, and I don't think most of us know exactly what willpower is and how we can call on that resource. Willpower is a resource that we can call to help us accomplish amazing things that we never realized we could do. We always talk about willpower in the negative, and I hear people say, I just don't have enough willpower. I just don't think I can do it. I don't have the self-discipline. I don't have self-control. You can call it whatever you want, but it's still willpower. And willpower is what it takes inside you that lets you know you're willing to do what you need to do for a long-term goal and give up something short-term. Like, for example, you see a piece of chocolate cake, you want the chocolate cake. It's human nature. It's chocolate cake. Hello, right? So you want the cake, but willpower is the thing inside you that says, you know, I really want to be able to fit into my bikini, or I want to be able to feel good, or whatever the thing is that you want that's more important than the cake. So that's willpower. But willpower can also be used in the opposite direction. It's something you want to do, want to achieve, and you can call on that same willpower, that same thought process that makes us overcome and choose to do the right thing. You can call on it to help you achieve that goal. You can say, you know, I'm afraid of talking to strangers. I don't want to get out there and talk to people. I don't like it. We were trained from when we were little, right? Don't talk to strangers. Strangers bad. And so we're overcoming all of this stuff. And willpower says, I want to be silver more than I'm nervous of talking to strangers. So I'm willing to do what it takes. I'm willing to set up the time to do it. I'm willing to take those steps. So willpower, it's kind of this thing that we can develop in us. We can strengthen that trait. And, you know, science has showed us that people that have better willpower, more self-control, they earn more money, they have higher IQs, they are more successful, they are more healthy. And it's because willpower is not just one piece. Most people, when we think of willpower, we talk about diet. And for me, that has been a big thing. I have now currently, as of today, let go of, whatever you want to call it, 137 pounds. Now, it's taken me 2 years to do that, but man, I am proud of that. But I think one of the cool things is knowing that I'm not having to use willpower to do it anymore. I've partnered with my body. I've partnered with my hormones. I've set rituals in place that make it where it's not me having to say, oh, I'm going to be good today and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to choose to not eat the cake. It's when it turns into a habit, it's not willpower anymore. And that's one of the keys I want to help you develop. One of the things I want you to help you to do. And so one of the first things I want you to get out of your mind is that there's good and bad as far as choices. So a lot of times when we make the choice not to eat the cake, we go, I was so good. I didn't have cake. I was such a good girl. I made a good decision. And you're focused on that good thing. So the next time something comes up, it could be later in the day, it could be 10 minutes later, it could be walking past a candy dish and you go, you know what, I was good, I didn't have that piece of cake, I'll just go ahead and have a piece of candy. Because when it's moral and ethical and you got this reward system going on, then you don't feel guilty eating the piece of candy because you were a good girl and you didn't eat the cake. So we have to separate those pieces from it. We have to figure out what is the long term, what is the big reason. For me, Young Living is taking all the diamonds to Australia next year. Hello, Australia. I want to go to Australia. Anybody out there think Australia would be a great thing? Huge, right? Well, I have MS. I also have issues with leukemia. And so I have health things. So when they announced that Australia was the place, and that's someplace I have always wanted to go, everybody wants to go, right? So I determined that from now on, I'm taking my supplements 4 times a day without fail. It doesn't matter if I want to. It doesn't matter if they're sometimes taking handfuls of supplements, because I take a lot of stuff with what I'm going on. And sometimes when you take it, it's like, oh, my stomach, I can't take another pill, and it's gross and I don't want to. But instead of being in that moment, instead I go, this is worth it for Australia. This means I get to walk and do all this stuff and not end up in a wheelchair. This means my energy will still be there and I won't have to be tired. So taking these right now in this moment, that's what that means. I do a ketogenic diet. I did that not because I wanted to lose weight, although, hello, I definitely want to lose weight, but I did it because long term, it was the best answer I could see for cancer. So it partnered with my goal of not having leukemia, right? So I do the ketogenic, but I am a carb craver. You don't get to over 400 pounds without being addicted to carbs. And that's a big deal for me. So when I see carbs, or like my daughter just had her engagement party, it was so much fun. We had everybody over, and there's choices that you make. And my choice was to still stay good and still do the good thing and be a good girl. But it wasn't for that reason. I did it because I know I want to be able to go to Australia. So you have to be able to step back and say, what is it I want? It's not a matter of being good or being bad, because then I will cave. Because you can only be good for so long. You can only have, this much willpower. And when that willpower is gone for the day, you don't have any more willpower. So learning to make that switch of what is it that I want, what's more important. And so for me now, I can picture going to Australia and walking and feeling good and being healthy and all those good things. So it's not a, do I want this piece of cake? It's, do I want this piece of cake or do I want Australia? And so when it's a bigger, broader picture, you can make a better decision. And then it becomes habit, where it's just okay. You just don't want it. And you can apply that in every area of your life with willpower. Say you're just starting where you want to start reading a book. We always say it, leaders are readers, leaders are readers, leaders are readers. But choosing to find the time to read, and then staying awake while you're reading, because for some of you guys, I've heard lots of people say, I just can't stay awake. I fall asleep when I read, right? So that's an issue. So instead of it being, I'm going to be good, I'm going to read, it's going to be something that you do on command, on a habit, at the same time, every single day, no matter what else is happening. It's a command. It becomes a ritual. Because rituals, when we get into a habit of something, we don't have to fight to do it. It's just there. So it's one of those, like, I set my phone timer for a ton of things. If you've ever been to any of my events that I do, you'll see my computer timer saying different things that I have to do at different times, because it's automatically in there. So it will go off and say, stand up, walk around the house, stand up, go do push-ups, different things like that. It just is automatic in there. It even tells me when it's time to turn off my computer for the night. So a little pop-up will come up. So I can't say, oh, I forgot. That reminder is there, it's there. And of course I have a choice in that moment of what I'm going to do. But if you decide, and that's one of the things that I had to do a couple of years ago, is I just had to make the decision that I'm going to take those outside cues and I'm actually going to do whatever it says. So when it says it's time to turn the computer off, even if I'm in the middle of 100 things, those 100 things will be there in the morning when I come back. So I just shut the computer off. I just close the computer. Everything will be there when I come back, and I let those outside cues. So I don't have to use willpower for it. Because see, if everything you do all day long, you're having to make a conscious decision to do it. So you're having to use willpower or self-control or self-discipline to accomplish it. You're going to run out. At some point, you're going to go, oh, I don't even care. And you're just going to give in. And that's when that 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock candy bar comes in, or that decision just to go home and not do anything. Or instead of getting up and taking a walk after dinner, you choose to do something different, like sit down on the couch and watch TV for the next 6 hours before you go to bed. Those things, it's because you didn't set it into an automatic thing. So that's a huge thing. If you're trying to do the 1090 challenge, that's another one. 1090 challenge is hard. Anybody trying to do where they go out and they talk to 10 people in 90 days and move for another rank. So you're willing to do all the work that it takes to get there. If you're doing that right now, and it is hard, and it's something that takes willpower to do it and self-discipline, and you're making it harder by dragging it out all day long. Instead, say, you know what? I know I've only got a certain amount of willpower. The first thing I'm going to do after I drop the kids off at school, I'm going to go get my 10 in. I'm going to do that right now. And then when you're done with your 10, you can be like, I rock. I did it. I did what I was supposed to do. This is amazing. Got that off the list, and go to the next thing. And make it more of a ritual where you automatically do it. Same thing, you don't like doing care calls. I know for a lot of people, calling people on the phone, that's an issue, especially since nowadays most people don't do phone calls. Most people do texting, they do email, and you want to do some care calls and check on your people, and that's hard for you, then choose to do that first. There's a great book, Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. And it literally talks about do that. The worst thing on your list, get that done first, because after that you feel strong, you feel comfortable, you feel like you accomplished this big deal, and the other stuff becomes easier. You just got to change the way that you do it and literally use that willpower. God gave us, gifted us with the ability to push through even though we don't want to. It was a gift. It's inside us. It's part of what kept us alive. You go hunting, not because you wanted to hunt, but because if you didn't hunt, your family would starve. So you go out and you hunt. Same thing with a job. Like, you guys have self-discipline, right? You all know those people that just cannot hold a job for anything. No matter what, they get fired. They don't show up. They call in late. They call all these different things. We know people like that. But it is self-discipline that has made you go to work. And you don't go to work because you necessarily love it. Although I know some of you might like your job. You go because you know that you have to. If you don't go, you don't get a paycheck. If you don't get a paycheck, you can't pay for your house. You can't pay for your food. You can't pay for your kids' shoes. All these different things. You go to work because you have to, right? Well, it's the same thing. That is something that is ingrained. When the alarm goes off, whether you want to or not, you're going to get up and you're going to get dressed and you're going to go. You're going to be there. You're going to put in your time because you have to. It's a non-negotiable. You made it a ritual. You don't think, oh, am I going to go to work today? Those are the people that don't keep their jobs. Those are the ones that they don't last. They switch through jobs. They go through stuff. And relationships. They go through relationships too. Because quite frankly, whether or not you want to believe it, a relationship takes self-discipline. It takes willpower. It is a choice. It is a choice to stay in a friendship with somebody, whether it is a marriage or long-term relationship, friends, relationships at church. It's always a choice. It takes work. It's a two-part thing. And that's all a part of that willpower. And then deciding, where do you want your willpower to go? What are the most important things? I really recommend that everybody sits down and they pick those areas in their life that they know they need to work on. And you just pick one or two. What I find with most people is when they decide they're going to do something new, like, I'm going to do this. I am going to change my diet. I'm gonna do that ketogenic thing Shannon's been talking about. I'm gonna up my water. I'm gonna be drinking my water. I'm gonna measure my water. I'm gonna exercise every single morning. And then I'm gonna get rid of these toxic relationships. I'm gonna get rid of television. I'm gonna go talk to my 10. And we put it all on the list at one time. We're like, we're gonna do it all. But remember, you only have this much willpower. So what's gonna happen? You're going to be okay maybe the first hour or 2 hours of the day, maybe even 3 hours in. But by hour 4 and hour 5, because you got to realize you have normal stuff that is dragging on your willpower. When somebody says something stupid and you want to smack them and you don't, you used willpower. It's a good thing. We should do that, right? But it's willpower that's causing us to do it. So every time you get up and you go to work, right, you used a little bit of that. You remind yourself the self-discipline, and it's an automatic thing. So that's already done. And then you choose to eat a healthy breakfast, and then you choose to eat a healthy lunch. And then you choose again not to hit people that you don't like, and not to say what's really in your mind. How many times have you thought something and you want to say it to somebody, but you don't because you know it's the wrong thing and it's not good professionally and it's not nice? It's all willpower. So knowing that we have a finite amount, a small amount of willpower, we have to choose where we're going to use the excess. So the regular amount of willpower we have, the normal stuff we do, that's already used. So say we have this much willpower right here. We got this much. And you use on a regular basis just to get through your day, all of this willpower, right? Then you have this that is a choice of what else are you going to work towards, right? We're going to work towards our health. And we're going to get that habit. For me, every single Sunday, we take all of our supplements and we use muffin trays on the table, and we do breakfast, lunch, dinner, and bedtime. And I make pills for myself, for my husband, for my kids, and my mother-in-law. We make baggies of pills, and it has their names on it, and we put it in a big basket. So at each of those times, there's no effort. I can't go, I don't have time to get the pills together. I don't have time to get my supplements. It's already ready. We make things where it's easy. It's a nice habit. Again, it's on my phone. So when my phone rings, and it says breakfast, take your supplements, I know that I stop what I'm doing. I go out and get my Pure Protein Complete. I take one of those. I take my bag of supplements. I drink my water, and then I can go to my next thing. I don't have to think about it. I made as many things as you can make habit, the easier it becomes. Same thing with making good choices for dinner and lunch. We, on the weekends, cook a lot of extra stuff. So we have meals already cooked up. We've got chicken always cooked. We've got beef always going. There's always bone broth on our stew, on our what do you cook on stove? On our stove going. So it's always there. It's always ready. We also, so there's this thing that's, the out of sight, out of mind. It's real. It is totally true. They've done scientific studies where they'll put candy in a dish, and when the candy is in the dish where people can see it, they eat way more candy than they would if the candy was just in a drawer. Same location, same spot, but it's in a drawer. They eat way less. I don't remember what the percentages are, but it was a huge deal. They even did some stuff in offices where they would put it on the front desk, and then they would put it in a desk closer to where people sat, and it determined whether or not people would actually eat more candy throughout the day. Out of sight, out of mind. They did a study. It's the marshmallow study. You can look it up online, but they did it years ago. It was like in the 70s, and they did it with kids, and the kids could have there was a marshmallow sitting on the table, and they could have that marshmallow right now, or they could wait 15 minutes and they could get 2 marshmallows, whichever one they wanted to do. And they found in the study that the kids that would, they would literally cover their eyes, they would distract themselves, they would do different things, that the kids that did that were able to wait to get the 2 marshmallows. The kids that didn't do that, that couldn't wait and just ate the marshmallow, they even through years afterwards of following up on these kids, the ones that had the willpower or that self-discipline to wait until they could get 2, that delayed gratification, those had higher IQs, those children had higher incomes, they were healthier all around. So it's interesting understanding that we got to keep it out of sight, out of mind. So again, things that we can make habit, just don't have the junk food in the house. If you know that because I know for a lot of you, it's you're trying to change your life and get healthy, and maybe your spouse doesn't want to, or your kids are on a different play, or, I know a lot of people that make completely different meals for their kids than for them. And so if your husband has his Fruit Loops, that's his thing, but the Fruit Loops being in the house make you want to have the Fruit Loops, and you have to use willpower not to eat the Fruit Loops, I don't care which thing, anything, then you need to not have the Fruit Loops in the house. It needs to be one of those conversations that you say, I can't say no to this, honey. We can't have this in the house, or you need to keep it with you wherever you go because I'm going to eat it. So it's out of mind, out of sight, and you're not having to fight yourself, because if all that's in the house is a healthy choice, that's what you're going to go for, because they even have studies saying that when you open the refrigerator, the first things that you lay your eyes on there's a higher likelihood that you're going to eat those. So having good, healthy choices right in the fridge. That way it's not willpower for your diet. It's not willpower for remember taking your supplements. It's not willpower to remember to take your Nutri-Rad, and willpower to go to work, and willpower to take care of the kids. And then you got to do your 1090 and build your business. How are you going to fit that in, right? We can't do that. It's asking so much of us, and instead we need to make some of it automated. Some of it is just easier to do, and learning that sometimes you're going to mess up. It is. And when you mess up, when you choose to do something that's out of your long-term vision. So that's what a mess up is. You're trying for a goal. You've got something you want to do. You're doing your 1090, and you have done it for the last 15 days. And you did great. And on day 16, you just didn't do it. Life happened. It didn't happen. Don't beat yourself up over it. That berating that we do, like when an adult gets onto a kid. And I can't believe you did this. And what were you thinking? Why would you do that? And we do that to ourselves. And the problem is that depletes the willpower for the next day, because we've already determined that we suck. I suck. I didn't do it. What's wrong with me? Why couldn't I follow through? I never do anything I say I'm going to do. And you're speaking that into your mind, and you're speaking it with emotion. When we speak something like that with emotion, it really makes a difference. We end up owning that information, and it gets put right on the cells of our body, and our body, next time we're ready to do it, our body goes, no, we won't do that. We never follow through. We never stick to it. I can't lose weight no matter what I do. I can't sign up people. Nobody wants to do it with me. And we're saying those words over and over again. And when we do, it sets in our head. And then we're overcoming that trauma as well, because it is a trauma. If you make it such a big deal every time you don't follow through, it's going to be worse. Where instead, especially if you're sitting here right now and you're like, Shannon, I really don't have willpower. You don't understand. I want you to set tiny, tiny little things. Things like tomorrow morning, when I wake up, I'm going to drink a glass of water. And you're going to set your phone. You're going to put a little note. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to drink water. Maybe you're a soda drinker or a coffee drinker or whatever. Something tiny, something you can accomplish. You make that the plan. That's what I'm going to do. And the next day, the timer goes off, and you go right into the kitchen and you drink your water. And I want you to be like, yes, I did it. I said I was going to do it, and I did it. I do the things that I say I'm going to do. I did a great job. This is amazing. This is exciting. I did it. And then set your next tiny step. This afternoon at lunch, I'm going to have a salad. I'm going to have a salad. Doesn't matter where everybody wants to go. I can have any kind of salad I want. I'm not going to prejudge the salad. I'm not going to be like, oh, this one's not quite healthy enough, and this doesn't quite have enough fats, or this doesn't quite have enough. You're just going to look at it and say, at lunch, I'm going to have a salad. going to have a salad. I'm really proud of my decision. And then go to lunch and don't look at anything else on the menu. Nothing else. Go to the salads and pick one of those salads. It can be a juicy, delicious, amazing salad. Just enjoy that salad. Eat every bite. Think it's great. And then tell yourself, I did it. I did it. I had a salad. She had pasta. She had pizza. But I had salad. Because you will start to get, it's kind of like this endorphin rush. This little high that you get every time you do something you say you're going to do. Because that's willpower. That is that reward system that we're supposed to have. That's that little bit of dopamine and serotonin, because we can be proud of ourselves. Because our issue is we say, okay, this is what we're going to do. By the end of the year, I'm going to be this. And you got these huge goals. But for some of us, we've never even accomplished a tiny goal, let alone these big, huge goals. And so we start making excuses of why we can't do it. Oh, I can't have salad today. Everybody's going out and everyone's going to have pizza and spaghetti. And there's just no way I'll be able to do it when everybody else is having good stuff. And we have already set ourselves up with that expectation that we won't be able to do it. But instead, you're making it where it's just the decision is made before you ever get there. Same thing with dinner. I think one of the most important things you could do if you're really wanting to change your health, you're like, I want to see a difference in me physically. One of the best things you can do is have dinners planned and most of the work done the day before. So as you're cleaning up from dinner on day one, you throw in whatever you're going to do in a crock pot or get the stuff out, get it all ready so that when you come home from work, you've already done all of the hard work. You don't have to think about it. It's the decision of what I'm going to fix. Is it easier to just drive through and get pizza, or to do the work that I already did and throw it in and have that for dinner? Could you do that pre-thought? Because by the end of the day, what did they say about willpower? Not a whole lot left. Same thing with deciding to go to events and meetings. Listen, I personally feel if you are trying to build your Young Living business, and I'm assuming you're on a business call with us, right? If you're trying to build it, you need to be at classes and meetings. If there's stuff going on, you need to be there. You need to be out there touching other people that are in the same spot as you are, because it fills up the willpower. It makes you feel more confident that you're not crazy. You're not the only one doing it. It recharges you being around other people that are of the like mind. And that's what we need to do. You need to have it set in your head that I'm just going to go. So say our class is in the area on Mondays. You need to set in your head every single Monday night, no matter what, I'm going to class. Doesn't matter if I've heard the topic 3,000 times, I'm going to class. And you know what? You could even knock it up one more than that. Say that at least twice every single month, I'm going to bring a new person with me to that class. Because that's what the class is there, so that you can introduce your new people to all these other people that are out there building and sharing. That's what you want to do. You want to get out there, and you want that willpower not to have a role, because it's something you had made a decision to do ahead of time. You just do it. It's just a non-negotiable. It doesn't matter. Like for most people that go to church on a regular basis, they just know every single Sunday morning they're going to church. They don't have to say Saturday, oh, I don't know if I'm going to church tomorrow. It's just a done deal. You don't have to think about whether or not you're going to work. It's just a done deal, right? It's the same concept. It's setting it up so that you're setting yourself up to succeed instead of setting yourself up for failure. And then for willpower to really have that strength that we need behind it, we need to give ourselves time to not be stressed and to enjoy life. If everything is constantly a struggle, you're having to constantly work to accomplish something, and everything you do, you have to put effort into, you're going to get frustrated, and you're going to have a cheat or skip something, but you got to schedule in time for fun. I personally think every single day, everybody should take time and meditate. I do. You can say whatever you want about it, but we need that quiet time. I do it first thing in the morning every single day. I wake up, I go outside. I'm an outside kind of girl. I love to go out there. I've got a picnic table. I sit there. My little toes are in the grass wiggling around. I'm listening to the birds. The wind is blowing, and I sit down and I read the Word of God, and I pray and I sing and I get quiet, and I let myself get quiet and relaxed. And my kids know, I mean, it has always been this way. Unless the house is on fire, and it better be a pretty big flame going on, they're not allowed to disturb me. That's my time. And that stress, that takes me down to a 0 on the stress level before the day even gets going. Because usually most of us wake up, we jump out of bed, we got this to do, we got that to do, and run. And we start in that stressed out zone. Well, when you're stressed, it changes the amount of glucose you have, it changes the amount of cortisol you have, and then willpower is even lower. They have shown that when our glucose is low, when your sugar is low, you have a hard time making good choices. And that's because that's that whole, It's part of what our body was supposed to do if there was not enough food. So it's one of those reactions we can't fight. But if you can keep your blood sugar even and you can keep your stress down and your cortisol down, you can make better choices. You feel better about your choices. You feel more confident in your choices. So those are some of the things you can do. Take that little bit of time to meditate. Maybe you don't have time in the mornings. Do it at another time. Find a time every day where you can just, even for 2 or 3 minutes, just get quiet. Just think about something amazing, something relaxing, something quieting, or absolutely nothing. It takes effort to learn how to turn your mind off and think of absolutely nothing. And you can use essential oils to help you lock that in. One of the oils that I use when I'm having to engage in willpower, because again, you don't get to be over 400 pounds without food being one of your triggers, right? So one of the oils I like to use is Endoflex. It's an amazing one that just, for me, the aroma, the breathing it, I rub it on, I deep breathe it, I get quiet, and then I can make my decision. And I do that anytime I'm trying to fight the craving to eat a donut that somebody has out, or I'm over somebody's house and because every time when we go do classes, well, when you're out and about, people always have snacks and treats and, here, eat a little here, eat a little there. I gained weight getting into Young Living doing that because everywhere you went, people wanted to give you something. And I have learned to just be able to say, no, thank you. We just had something. No, thank you. But the Endoflex helps with it if it's something that I would ordinarily really want to enjoy. I use my Endoflex. And for you, it could be a completely different one. It's not that there's something special in Endoflex that helps me do that. It's just, I got to put some on. I had it in my hand. It's just an aroma that's very calming and very soothing. It helps me to focus, gives me that little bit of an energy. I love the Endoflex, and it helps me make a good decision, but you might have another one. So you're trying to decide, or, shopping. Some people, shopping is your thing. When you're stressed out, when you're overwhelmed, going and buying something helps you to feel better, right? That's still willpower. It's still self-discipline. That's one of my husband's things. My husband has all kinds of things that he likes to do. And shopping, I know, not traditional, right? But that's his. When he's getting stressed, when he's getting overwhelmed, he wants to go get something. He wants to spend money, and that's his thing. So he has his own triggers, his own things that helps him be able to come back in a line, and he'll say things like, do I want this right now? Or like he bought a big, beautiful, amazing truck a few months ago, but it was not something that he bought on a spur of the moment. It was something that he looked at for over a year, it is that delayed gratification. So he would say when he was looking at something he wanted to get that's, a couple $100, do I want this or do I want my truck? Okay, I want my truck. And so it was able to, that's that delayed gratification. It's something you have to practice. And it is a muscle. Your willpower, don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Willpower is a muscle. It is something that you can develop. You can get better. You can get stronger. You can have more. So if right now you only have this much willpower and you're like, I barely get out of bed, you don't understand, you can make it bigger. And making it bigger is doing some of those things I talked about. It is setting the teeniest, tiniest goal and doing it. Maybe right now you don't go anywhere. You use Young Living oils, but you stay at home, you watch videos, you do different things, but you don't go to anything. Set one of your goals. October 15th, the Live Your Passion Rally. It's going on everywhere. There's a Live Your Passion Rally going on near you somewhere. You can go to Young Living's website and you can get details of places that you can go do it. Make your goal, I'm going to go. No matter what, I'm going to be at a Live Your Passion Rally and get around some other people. Doesn't matter if you know anyone. And listen, when you go to events, you guys, talk to people in the room. Everybody else there is into Young Living. Say, hi, my name is so-and-so from such and such. What are you doing here? And start making friendships, making relationships. If your meetings, if you're coming into the meeting and then you're leaving and you're not interacting and socializing, you're missing one of the most important parts of getting together. And it's that sense of community. We need that sense of community. So make sure you're doing that. Set your goals. Make them tiny. Yes, there's some big, huge dreams. I know everybody on here wants to be Royal Crown Diamond someday, right? Woo, woo, Royal Crown Diamond. But I want you to make some mini steps for getting there. What are you going to do? How many phone calls are you going to make? How many one-on-ones are you going to do? How many individual classes are you going to do? How many people are you going to talk to? Have you even called the people on your list? Do you have a list? Those are things you have to decide. I'm going to make my list. I'm going to actually call the people on my list so I can get done with those people. I don't know how many people have stacks of business cards. I get this all the time. Oh, Shannon, I got a lot of leads. I did a vendor fair and I got this stack. Look at all these people that registered. And then I'll talk to them 2 months later and they still have the stack. I'm like, what are you doing? Are you collecting them? Because it's not going to help you. So on that willpower thing, say, you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to call 15 people. In order. I'm not going to dig through the thing and find the best 15. You're just going to pick up the phone and call 15, or put all of their emails in and send them all an email. Put them into marketing sense. I don't care what you do. Just do something and then celebrate the fact that you did it. And don't make it so big that you can't. I had this one lady just recently tell me, I'm going to do this thing. I'm not going to do 10 a day. I'm going to do 100 a day. I'm here to tell you, I've been doing 10 a day for a long time, and 100 a day, but I'm never going to say, don't do that. What are you, crazy? But she called me up and she said, I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. I only did like 28. I set up 3 appointments. I'm like, what are you talking about? She made it so big that she couldn't celebrate the fact that she talked to 28 random strangers, set up 3 appointments, and had one person sign up while she was out. That's not a bad day. That's an amazing day. But she couldn't celebrate it because she made it so big. We have to celebrate our little things. We have to be excited about the small things so we can achieve some of those bigger things. There's not one Royal Crown Diamond out there that said, you know what, I'm going Royal Crown Diamond, and ran to it and didn't do anything in between. Right? They had all the steps, whether they built it online and they had to start talking about it and blogging about it and answering questions and setting up their website and doing all that. They had that to do. If they did it in person, one-on-one with people they knew, they had that to do. If they did it over a long period of time, there were steps that were taken. We just have to acknowledge those steps and be excited about them. I have a couple notes. I want to make sure I got everything we were talking about. Let me see. Removing temptation, getting away from you, keeping your blood sugar stable. I know that sounds like a weird thing when we're talking about willpower, and I said it a little bit, but it's really important because your brain is like energy central. It uses more energy. It uses like 20% of the energy that we take in. So 20% of the food, 20% of the oxygen, all of that is used by your brain. So when your brain is already stressing over other stuff and there's all this stuff going on, and you got stuff, you're, oh my gosh, I can't handle it all. And you're getting all frustrated and you have all that going on. And then you try to make a decision on what you're going to have for dinner, or you make a decision that I'm going to go talk to my 10 people. And here you are dealing with the kids and you have all this going on. Your brain is not going to make good decisions at that point. Your brain doesn't, and all kinds of science has shown it. Type in blood sugar and willpower, and you'll see lots of studies that show us that it doesn't work that way. But you can keep it stable, and that's not keeping it stable by eating a piece of candy or drinking juice or even eating an apple. One of the best ways is fats, avocados, your nuts, if you're going to do nuts and not peanuts, but do things like pecans and walnuts, and those help keep it stable. So it's feeding the brain, it's giving it the energy it needs so that you can make good decisions. So that's one of them, something to think about. Some oils that you can use that are just lovely to help you relax and chill would be things like Thieves Essential Oil, Ocotea. Those are some great ones you could play with. And then sleep. Oh my gosh, we did, if you weren't with us for the webinar for back to school, one of the favorite things I did in our back to school webinar was about our circadian rhythms and sleep, and the importance of sleep, and why we have to work at getting our body into a normal, healthy sleep cycle. And I really highly recommend go listen to that webinar. The replay is on our website. That's shannonhudsonyl.com. You'll see the replay in there. And it is amazing, even if you just fast forward up to the sleep part and watch it, because the changes that happen in our dopamine and our serotonin and our decision making because of sleep. Being chronically or even mildly chronically sleep deprived changes our ability to make good choices. It is like it's huge. Go to that website, go to that video rather, and watch that and see what you can do to help your body with that sleep and that cycle we're supposed to have. Some that will help your mind just quiet down as you're going to sleep are things like cedarwood. It just helps your mind quiet so that you can get into that relaxed state. Rutavala, that's another one that's fantastic for that. So you can use Rutavala. Peace and Calming too. That's another good one that you can use. If you don't know, anytime Gary remade any of our essential oils, so he reformulated them, he reformulates them for the frequency, not for the aroma. So if you open up one of the oils and you're like, Well, that doesn't smell like peace and calming. It doesn't. It's not supposed to. It's a lovely aroma, but it's the frequency. So everything that peace and calming was capable of doing because of the energy is the same thing that can happen with that energy that is in our peace and calming too. So think that through. Same thing is true of our valor and all the different ones. There's a bunch that have just recently been redone, and they've all been redone for the energy. So think that through when you're smelling them and deciding how you feel. So that is one. Let's see what else. Sleep, we talked about. Enjoying life, taking the time to have fun. It does have to be scheduled because especially for women, men, you tend to be able to find fun. You figure out ways to have fun. You go golfing, you fish, you play video games. There's so many different things. But ladies, we are more, I know we have a hard time saying it's okay just to take the day off and go do something fun or just be able to relax or even just sit down in front of the TV and chill for a little bit. We have a little harder time doing that, but you need to schedule it in. You need to say, okay, Tuesday, and go do something for fun. Go take that time. It doesn't have to be all day. Just take a couple hours. It'd be great if you could have fun every single day, wouldn't it? Have a couple hours where you enjoy yourself and laugh. The Word of God says that laughter does good like a medicine. It's very restorative, being able to laugh and enjoy life. I'm a laugher. Find time to have fun. What else do we have? Avoid and reduce stress. We talked about that. And I know we can't get away from stress, but we can learn to come back to center. The meditating, the fun, laughter helps to bring cortisol levels back down so we can relax a little bit. Some great oils that help us in this area, things like Stress Away, Balsam Idaho Fir. They're ones that just help us relax a little bit and enjoy the moment. And, take time to smell the roses. We really should, because it will help long-term us getting to where we want to go, because most of the reason women won't chill is because there's so much to be done. I got to get this stuff done. But you'll be more effective if you let the stress go. Stress not good. Stress does bad things in our body. Look up stress and what it does to us. It's not good. We don't want to live that way. What else? And then have a plan, that whole planning ahead of time, so you know what you're going to have at dinner and you know what you're going to have at breakfast and your supplements are already ready and you know what you're going to do. And in knowing the when and the how, I'm telling you, I set my timer for everything. Even if I'm going to sit down and make a flyer, I will I have an actual old-fashioned timer, that I have one of those, because it takes me out of that moment. So I'm deciding to make a flyer for something we have coming up. I'll set it for 30 minutes and I put the most important things in first. I get that done. The date, the when, the where, who's speaking, boom, it's in there. And then I add all of the fluffy stuff, because we can spend so much time just being a control specialist on some of these things that we never actually get out there and do it. And yet we feel like we're spinning our wheels. I'm working so hard. I'm doing everything I have to do and I can't get anywhere. And we're frustrated. Where if we just learn to organize our time a little bit better, we can enjoy that. And then we can have the results that we're looking for. And you won't feel as stressed out, because it doesn't have to be perfect. People don't care what you hand them. People don't care that you know all of these things. They just want to know that you care. When I go out and I'm doing my 10 a day and I'm chit-chatting with people, I'm in the moment. People keep saying, what exactly do you say? I don't know, because it depends on the person I'm talking to. I look at that mom and she's got her kids and she's stressed out, or she's laughing, or she's having a great time, or her kids are being silly, or they're being horrible. And I just want to talk to the mom. I just want to interact and see what's happening in her world and how I can help her in her universe. So I'm literally out there going, who needs me? Who am I making eye contact with that needed somebody just to smile? Because we don't smile. We don't make eye contact. We don't talk to each other. We're all so busy, and I just make myself available. Just like I am. This is me all day long. This is Shannon Hudson. I don't try to be anything but who I am. I just share with people everywhere I go. And we don't have to stress out about it. We don't have to make it a fight. We don't have to make it a battle. Just decide what it is you want. Make your schedule and say, I'm going to do it. And so make that plan this week. Say, okay, I'm going to go home. I'm going to pick some things that I know I want to improve on. And of course, this is a Young Living webinar, and I want you to be working for your next goal. I want you to be working for silver, gold, platinum, diamond, crown diamond, whatever it is that you want. But I'm also aware there's a lot of other areas in your life that probably need TLC. I want you to be healthy. I want you to feel good. We only go around one time. We should be able to enjoy the journey. And this is a part of it. Willpower does not have to be your enemy. Willpower can work for you. You just have to tell it what to do. All right, guys, our next webinar is next Tuesday, and I have no idea what the topic is going to be. I do know that October 15th, you guys need to hook up with a Live Your Passion. They're going all over the place. We're doing one here in Michigan. It's going to be a lunch and learn. So it's going to be a big potluck, and we're going to be like speed on every, we're going to speed through, not on speed, because that would be bad. We are going to take all 12 systems, and we're going to try to go through them in between all the corporate stuff. So it's going to be fun. And we're going to go through it as quick as we can, lots of different speakers, and just boom, 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 topic. And we're going to eat, we're going to have fun, we're going to socialize, we're going to make some friends. So if you don't have anywhere to go and you're like, I don't have a group near me, come play with us in Michigan. We're going to be in Swartz Creek, Michigan. Information's on our website. It's $10 per person. If you want to go and you don't have any money, just go ahead and register so we have your information, and use I think the password we used is blessing. Type in the word blessing and you can get your ticket for free. You can bring your friends. We would love for you to come play with us and just make it a really social, outgoing thing. If you were planning on just getting the information and do it in your house with just 1 or 2 people, you know what? Open it up. Go play with some people. We need to interact, friendships, laughter. It does good like a medicine. Find one, go play with other people. God bless. We'll see you at the next webinar.